The main event on Saturday is the commitment of five-star safety KJ Bolden, the number one safety in America and one of the most talked about recruitments of the summer. Let's bring on Director of Recruiting for On3, Chad Simmons. Chad, the finalists here are Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, FSU, and Ohio State. But as we get closer and closer, this seems like it has a three-team feel to it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Josh. I think Alabama, obviously Ohio State, I've always viewed Bama kind of as that more on the back end of that top five in this race, really going back to 4 or 5 months ago. They got them on the OV, never can count Alabama out. Obviously, Bama is Bama, but then Ohio State, who at one time was viewed, if not the leader, maybe the top two for, multiple consistent months this summer and spring. So that we're not hearing near as much about Ohio State the last 3, 4, 5 weeks is a little surprising. But like you said, 3 schools continue to come up and hover around that top spot, and that's Auburn, Florida State, and Georgia. Nothing would shock me come Saturday night about these 5 schools, but right now it seems like Auburn, Florida State, and Georgia have the best chance.
Yeah, this is kind of a unique recruitment because generally speaking, when we're 48 hours out, Chad, we either know where the recruit's going or we have a pretty good idea where the recruit's going. And in this case, KJ Bolden, credit to him. He's just done an incredible job of keeping everybody guessing, including college coaches. Do you think that he'll inform even college coaches of his decision before we get to Saturday?
Based on what I know right now from his camp, I would say no. I think he's going to make those guys, all 5, watch and figure it out at the same time as it happens. Now, I've heard the possibility that he could tell the quote-unquote winning school, maybe a little bit ahead of time that he's going there. But at the same time, I've heard the likelihood of anyone finding out early from a college standpoint is likely not to happen. So I do think he plans to take this until 7:30 Eastern time on Saturday and keep everyone in the dark on his decision.
Hey, the coaches are going to be just like us. They're going to be tuned into the On3 YouTube channel, waiting to see where KJ Bolden's going. We're all going to be hanging out. So do me a favor right now, hit that subscribe button. We are going to be on KJ Bolden commit watch for the next 48 hours. All right, Chad, heading into this one, it kind of seemed like, well, for much of the offseason, it has seemed like Georgia has been the team to beat. But you reported about 3 weeks ago that the Noles were surging. Obviously, Auburn has made a run here. Do you still view the Dogs as the odds-on favorite as we're just 48 hours out?
Man, Josh, that's a tough one. Is there really truly an odds favorite? If we talk about those 3 schools, Auburn, Florida State, and Georgia, it could be literally 33%, across the board, because I do think there's confidence at those 3 schools, some level of confidence that they can land KJ and do what is needed to make it happen in these final 48 hours come Saturday evening. Now, Georgia very much has been a consistent school in this race going back 18 plus months. They offered him extremely early in the process. He's right down the road, 45 minutes at Buford High School. Georgia still has to be considered as a legit contender. Auburn came on strong in the spring, got him on campus now 3 times from April into July. And they've been the team that's probably made the biggest move over the last couple of months. And Florida State's been that dream school. He went there early in the process, been there multiple times in Tallahassee. They've been quietly kind of lurking, consistent back there in the mix. Maybe they were behind Ohio State at one time, maybe Clemson at one time, but they've been in this race longer than Auburn has. And they've been, I would say, taking it up a notch, maybe the last month and a half, has made this race very interesting. So I think Georgia still is very much a contender. There's been more buzz maybe recently about Auburn and Florida State, but do not count out the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, this would be a big win for anybody that lands KJ Bolden. But which program would you say needs this commitment more than the others?
When you say specifically that word needs, I probably go towards Auburn because Hugh's starting basically a brand new program. He's getting in transfer portal guys, trying to recruit his first full class as the Auburn head coach. So, look, if I had to use that one and pick one, which one needs him the most, I think it would be Auburn. Obviously, every program in the country needs the number one players at their position on their roster. So I think he's just as important to Florida State, Alabama, Georgia, or Ohio State. But when talking specifically and kind of breaking down the needs and who may need him the most as far as an immediate impact guy, it would probably be Auburn because of the changeover at the head coaching position.
All right, Chad, I'll see you right back here on Saturday at 7:30 for the announcement of KJ Bolden. I'm going to go talk to some of our team side experts right now and kind of get their opinions on what's happening with KJ Bolden. All this commitment talk, it reminds me, I have to let you know, I've officially flipped my commitment to Bird Dogs. Forget my old stiff pair of khakis that I used to wear. I love my Bird Dogs. Wear them to work every day. Got the slacks on right now, but I'll tell you what, I love the shorts for when I go golfing. I picked me up a pair. Check these out. They look great. They feel great. And my fiance even told me that my legs look good in these, and she doesn't really compliment me on anything. But I bought these for the course, and I want you to do something right now. Go to birddogs.com/Josh or enter promo code Josh for a free Bird Dogs Tech hat. Looks great, feels great. You can wear it golfing, tennis, just walking around the city. That's birddogs.com/Josh or promo code Josh for your free Bird Dogs Tech hat with your order. You won't want to take your Bird Dogs off. We promise you. Jeffrey, why does Auburn have a shot to land KJ Bolden just 48 hours from his decision?
Josh, I think there are a lot of reasons. I think it starts with Hugh Freeze at the top. I think it trickles down to Zach Etheridge, Trevon Reed, some of the support staff. These guys have had all hands on deck for this kid, and not only the coaches and staff, but, man, some of these commitments like Jalen Crawford, some of the players like Kay and Lee, they're all really close behind the scenes, and Auburn has been certainly working him from every angle, including the commitments. Walker White, DeMarcus Riddick, Barry Thompson, all of these guys have been working with KJ, working on KJ, and as well as those coaches and stuff. And Hugh Freeze selling that, come make your own legacy, be different, be part of this start. I think has got Auburn in it for sure.
I think it can be Georgia because of the long-standing relationship of Kirby Smart and KJ Bolden. Look, this isn't a last weekend deal. This isn't a May deal. Kirby Smart has recruited KJ Bolden since he was in the 9th grade. I don't even know how many times he has been to Athens as an unofficial visitor, to go to games, to go to camps, et cetera, et cetera. He has been to Athens as many times as anyone I can remember in this 2024 cycle. This is a 3-year relationship with the head football coach, who is a defensive back coach by trade. Obviously, his position, he played at college at Georgia. So if Georgia were to land KJ Bolden, I think it's because of that long-term relationship of Kirby Smart and KJ Bolden.
I think it's FSU because of what they've done with their program. I think that's resonated a lot with KJ. Obviously, we know Dream School and all that stuff, and that's nice, but I think a lot of it's just the product of what they've done. And I think the addition of Patrick Surtain, who's the lead recruiter for KJ Bolden, I think that those are some of the factors. And I think, for me, I think he was looking for a reason to pick FSU when he visited the last 2 times. I think the one in the summer was the most pivotal one that really seemed to move the needle. So that's my reasoning on FSU.
Hypothetically speaking, if KJ Bolden were not to pick Auburn, where do you think he would go?
Florida State. I have, we all have our sources, right? And, this guy's hearing one thing. I can only tell you what I've been hearing, Josh. And for me, it's been Auburn and Florida State since Saturday. It seems like Florida State is here in Auburn, Florida State. Georgia's here in Georgia and Auburn. So Auburn has been kind of a constant with some of these other different schools and publishers and whatnot. But what I have heard consistently since Saturday was Auburn, Florida State. And what's funny is, you asked me Sunday, and I was like, I'm kind of feeling Auburn. Well, Monday morning, I was kind of feeling Florida State. And then, Tuesday, I'm kind of sticking with Florida State for right now. And that actually, Josh, if you had said who's going to be the first to put in a prediction, I'm not there yet. But if I were today, if Shannon Terry said put in a prediction, it would be Florida State.
If it's not FSU, and that's a tough one because Georgia's been so emphatically in it. But if not FSU, I would say Auburn, just because one, they got the last visit. He's been there several times. It's a team with an exciting new coach. He certainly is attracted to what they're doing, and they're also pretty hot in recruiting, and that affects guys like KJ Bolden when you get other 5-stars around you. I think the same thing with FSU, but if it's not FSU, I think it would probably be Auburn in a close second place battle.
Let's say it's not Georgia in this scenario. Who do you think KJ Bolden picks?
Probably 2 weeks ago, I would have said either Ohio State or Florida State. But right now, going into this thing, I think Auburn's got a lot of momentum. They had him on campus last weekend. They had him on campus with Jaden Perlotti, a teammate of his who is verbally committed to Georgia in the 2025 class. I think Auburn's done a lot. They've had a lot of momentum here in the last 10 days or so. If this young man doesn't end up at Georgia, in my opinion, he's going to end up for the Auburn Tigers.
Thank you for watching. Make sure you smash that subscribe button for me, and remember to check out all the videos on the On3 YouTube page.